Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on KAJ, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Don Fisher. The investigation continues into Wednesday's fatal shooting that left one man dead in Arlee. But we do know who the victim is, and Lake County Sheriff tells us that they are investigating the shooting as a possible self-defense. MTN's Connor McCauley has the latest.
49-year-old Leonard L. Peak Jr. of Arlee was found dead when authorities arrived at a residence on Sanders Street in Arlee around 3:30 Wednesday afternoon. Sheriff Bell said Peak died as a result of a gunshot wound. While the shooter's identity has not been released, the relationship between the two men has been.
You know, they were neighbors from like a half a block away.
After law enforcement arrived on the scene, the shooter was taken into custody along with multiple witnesses.
There was 3 witnesses, but we only brought two witnesses and the shooter up to the office. The 4th witness, the 4th person there was there prior and had left before the shooting occurred.
The shooter was then released after questioning from the sheriff's office. Sheriff Bell tells us they are investigating the shooting as a possible self-defense.
We've since released, after the initial investigation was gone through and all the information was run through the county attorneys, we determined that the person wasn't a flight risk or wasn't a risk to the community, and it was looking at a possible self-defense, so that person was released.
Bell adds there is no threat to the community or neighborhood related to this incident. Connor McCauley, MTN News, Arlee.
And the victim was transported to the Montana State Crime Lab in Missoula for an autopsy, and there are no other details being released at this time. Moving on to weather, a wet day for northwestern Montana, making for some slick roadways, and that trend is set to continue. For more on what we can expect as we make it closer to the weekend, let's toss it over to Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost, who has a look at our first forecast. Aaron.
Yeah, our current system right now impacting folks just a little bit further to the south of us as expected. We do have a cold front approaching the region, and that is kind of pushing everything slowly to the south-southeast. So the majority of moisture kind of out of our hair right now, but we are going to be watching for some issues overnight tonight with refreeze on the roadways. Of course, a lot of us did start the morning off with some pockets of freezing rain made for very slick conditions. Tonight's mainly going to be a snow event for folks in southwest Montana, some of the west central part of the Treasure State. Things look to stay pretty active too. All those forecast update details coming up.
All right, thank you, Aaron. A Gallatin County man is in a state hospital in Warm Springs after allegedly making threats against Montana State Capitol building. This whole incident played out over about 24 hours between Tuesday and Wednesday, and while police aren't saying a lot right now, MTN's Jacob Furrer reports that this was a credible threat.
It was a very scary situation Wednesday as police worked to apprehend a man that they say wanted to shoot up the building.
We got a call on, I guess it's Tuesday afternoon, from Bozeman Police Department saying that they had received information that a person was threatening to come to the Capitol.
Law enforcement sprang into action. Bozeman and Helena Police, Gallatin County Sheriff's Office, MHP, and county attorneys formulated a plan. By Wednesday, police were able to confirm the identity of the man and that he had left Belgrade, headed for Helena.
Highway Patrol is the one that actually made the stop out on Highway 12. Just east of town. The person was headed to Helena. We received information just before that stop.
Meanwhile, extra officers were assigned to the Capitol Wednesday as a precautionary measure. Hagan says the goal was to never let the man enter the city.
We wanted to get the person stopped before they entered Helena. If it ends up being something where it becomes dangerous, we'd much rather have it happen on the highway than in the city because there's a lot less population.
Helena police say the man was initially taken to St. Peter's Health for a mental health evaluation, and after working with the Lewis and Clark and Gallatin County attorneys' offices, a decision was made to turn the man over to the Montana State Hospital at Warm Springs. Police haven't said who the man is and won't say whether he had any weapons when he was taken into custody. While they have some ideas about his motivations, they won't talk about that either. Police say state officials were made aware of the threats, but some lawmakers on Thursday appeared to have no idea about the alleged threats.
The news to me that there was a really dangerous situation is just that. It's news to me. What makes me really happy is that law enforcement was able to apprehend the person, take care of the situation, and we here at the Capitol were kept safe.
Other Capitol workers echoed that sentiment, with some saying they didn't need to know about the threat as long as it was taken care of by police. Jacob Furrer, MTN News, Helena.
And there is no word yet on what charges the man might face. And there may be no crime more heinous than sex trafficking or any form of sexual abuse, but those who investigate these crimes say it's the recovery that can be just as difficult for victims. MTN's Jack Ginsburg spoke with one survivor who is turning her traumatic experiences into positive ones for others.
There were at least about 4 or 5 people that was assaulting me till the age of 19.
Grace Monchala was born and raised in southern India to a protective religious family. At the young age of 6, she began to be sexually assaulted multiple times by family and friends. Her parents had no idea, and she wouldn't tell them because in her culture it was abnormal to talk about sex.
From a 6-year-old mouth, it doesn't look, that is not natural, right? And there was a lot of shame and guilt, and because of the culture that I grew up in, we don't talk about things like that.
Later, Grace met a man who she said showed her compassion, love, and a way to leave her dark past behind. At least that's what she thought. He began trafficking girls and boys in their home, even right in front of her. But Monchala says she became numb to her surroundings until one day she knew she had to leave.
He was at a point of wanting me to sell my womb and my body, where he would come and ask me again and again. And at that time I knew, okay, it's not safe anymore with him.
She left broken, spiritually and mentally. Her parents sent her to a counselor where she says she found her identity again and began working to help others with similar struggles. In 2008, Monchala came to the United States with the same mission, to create a safer place for young girls and boys in the community and beyond. She says it is important to find these criminals and save these children, but it is also crucial to restore their faith in who they are as people.
So increasing the value of a person, bringing awareness to that person and showing them that what their identity is very important.
Monchala played a huge role in drafting legislative bills related to sex trafficking, ultimately raising Montana's grade for sexual trafficking prevention from a D to an A rating.
Monchala says there is still a lot of work to be done to fight for the abolition of human trafficking in Montana and around the world, but she is happy with the progress she has seen so far. Jack Ginsburg, MTN News, Kalispell.
And Monchala will hold a training seminar at Flathead High School next Monday from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. The Flathead County Sheriff's Office is crediting 2 Bear Air rescue as instrumental in quickly ending a manhunt for an armed suspect high on meth running around in a lakeside neighborhood Monday evening. MTN's Nicole Miller has the story.
The dramatic capture of a burglary suspect caught on video earlier this week.
He was not well dressed, just had a t-shirt and jeans on, had lost his shoes.
Flathead County Sheriff Chuck Curry hoists the man to safety near Camas Creek.
It was pretty hypothermic.
And he was armed and considered to be dangerous, prompting an alert being sent out notifying nearby neighbors to lock their doors.
Push that out to people who were in the potential path or places he could actually get to.
The 2 Bear Air helicopter was deployed, and Curry says that with thermal imaging technology, they quickly spotted him.
We were able to keep an eye on him until we could vector our responding SWAT officers into position, and were able to take him into custody without any incident.
30-year-old Kevin Ray Mitchell of Libby has since been booked in the Flathead County Detention Center on a burglary charge. And Sheriff Curry says it was 2 Bear Air rescue that played the most critical role in his capture.
It's great to have that resource here. Normally, you have to live in a major urban area to have those sort of resources, and we're very fortunate that this privately funded aircraft, with the technology it possesses, is available to us.
Nicole Miller, MTN News, Lakeside.
And 2 Bear Air has been flying missions since the beginning of 2012, and Mitchell is due in court in early February. The closed Mineral County Jail in Superior is expected to reopen next month after being closed in November. Safety concerns arose over the diminishing number of detention officers leading to the closure. Former Mineral County Sheriff Tom Bauer said at the time that between poor pay and difficult hours, attracting and retaining employees was extremely difficult. Thursday, Mineral County Commissioner Roman Zalawi told MTN that the jail is expected to reopen sometime in February. Zalawi says ongoing efforts to fully staff the facility has delayed reopening, and the jail administrator reported on Thursday that the last hiring has been completed and that the training should be finished in time to have the doors open within the next 30 days. The size of Montana's expanded Medicaid program continues to grow, and state officials said Thursday it's also helping people find employment. At a legislative committee meeting Thursday in Helena, state health officials said Medicaid expansion is now covering 91,500 low-income Montanans. That's about 9% of the state's entire population. It's also more than twice the number of people that the Bullock administration estimated would be covered at this point in the program. Expanded Medicaid provides health coverage to low-income adults, with federal funds covering most of the cost. Also Thursday, state labor officials said they've contacted 21,000 people in the program to offer job training assistance. One of them is Amanda Childers of Thompson Falls. She told the committee Thursday that the program not only helped cover her family's medical costs, but also to prepare her for a job.
I'm a single mom of 2, and so the WorkLink program has helped me to get on my feet. It's opened doors to go down a career path in the medical field to better support myself and my kids. And without that program, I don't think I'd be where I'm at today.
And Childers said that she works as a caregiver at an assisted living home and is also going to school part-time in Missoula. And are you tired of getting robocalls? And are you on a do not call list and still getting these calls? After the break, we'll show you some more options on how to make them stop.